For those of you that don't know, this is Han Solo. Han is the official battery inspector I have here. He likes to get into things, and he was actually born out in my garage where my batteries are kept, and uh, he's a fan of the channel, and as well as a pain in my tail. But um, he's checking out some new batteries we just got in. These arrived. I ordered them from the U.S. If you stick with me at the end, I'll give you the thought of where I got them from and whether or not I feel you should buy them. Just so you know, I they're not paying me to do this. I've actually found them through another YouTuber, and this makes the fourth set of batteries I've ordered. I did go ahead and open one box and got the batteries out, and that way I can show you the packaging on one. Han definitely has to be a big part of this because he really likes cardboard. But so with that being said, these are 280 amp hour cells. They're a good grade of cell for solar storage. I mean, there's a lot of question out there, grade A, grade B. I can tell you that I do have a battery tester as well as a voltage and internal resistance meter, and I have tested the cells, and they all come back higher than the 280 amp hour rating on the previous deliveries. I haven't tested these yet as I'm just getting ready to open them. But when they come in in a pretty heavy cardboard box. It's got the hard foam packing inside, and it's individually got spots in it for each cell that keeps them from beating around. So this was the two I've already got out of the box. Kind of wanted to be able to show you the box real quick. They're pretty heavy. You end up with about 25 pounds per box. Each one does come with a set of bus bars. Comes with a set of epoxy panels. The welded connections on top of the batteries do have little plastic covers on them. So now we're going to get out a brand new box. Just like I said, so it arrived to me. These actually ship from Houston, Texas. I found the company here through another YouTuber, and I thought, well, I'll buy my first batch of batteries and build one, and so I did. And so little Han, he's a wild one. Notice he's still wearing his bling. He got that bling there for 25 subscribers. I'm not a big YouTuber. By the time you see this post, I am going to be pushing the 100 subscriber mark. So thank you to everyone out there who's supported me and Han. Han says, okay, enough of this. So let's get this box open here. The nice part is you can use a knife to cut the box. The batteries are very well protected inside, so you get the flaps open. Let's close the knife before I cut myself, but you get the flaps open. One of the hardest things I've had is they do pack in here really tight. They do supply the nuts, the flange nuts, and bus bars, and then they're in one baggie. I'll just lay that down. We got the epoxy sheets for separating them. They include 2 of those in every box. We'll put those off to the side as well. Here's the fun part. Getting the foam out can sometimes be a little bit, it kind of vacuum seals in there. Once again, they're a very tight fit. And then each cell is also individually plastic wrapped inside the box. I work them out, get them out of there. The plastic is not sealed, but they are wrapped, and so you can just slip it right off the cell. The cells all have a very nice fit and finish. I've not had one arrive that I've had any complaints on whatsoever. Like I said, both terminals have plastic covers on them. You can read the QR code on top. They are labeled as that they were tested. these particular cells are made by REPT. So I, I have my own belief on this. After testing them, brand A, brand B, brand C. I'm not brand specific. I'm trying to figure out cost per kilowatt hour and longevity. And so far, I've been running these, and they've been running cycles very well. I do like to when I first get them, I do have a battery voltage and impedance tester to test the internal resistance of the cells. So this is something that, if especially when you're buying something that, if you want to zoom in, you can see, I think this should have about 3.2 volts with a very low resistance, and it's marked on the side of the battery. Let's sit it down here out of the way. We'll get this box out of the way. Oh, I got one more battery here. Sorry. And that's why I'm saying the fit of the foam is very tight. So a lot of times it comes out with the cells. And then the first batch of batteries, I kept all the boxes because I'm like, what if I have to send one back? And so I didn't want to keep 48 boxes around. So it is a lot of packaging to get rid of. But like I said, the fit and finish on these batteries has been very good. I don't see any bulging. They're very flat. You can kind of see by laying one on there, you don't see a lot of light through them. They're a very flat cell. Cost effective. As of the time I purchased these cells, they were one of the most cost effective cells that I could find. We'll pop the covers off of this one. We're going to test it for voltage and internal resistance as well. So I order these. It's 16 cells in a group. They ship them in 8 boxes. The FedEx is who delivers them for me, and I can tell you that FedEx, they probably hate me when they have to deliver this because they're 25 pounds or so a box, about as much as anybody really wants to pack around. And the original boxes I was building to put these batteries in with plywood, and there's a guy on YouTube, Ray Builds Things. Thank you, Ray. You're kind of the inspiration for being able to build my own batteries. I took what I saw there and made it my own, and so. But I have had really good luck with my DIY batteries, because if you take 16 of these cells, I'll develop a 48 volt pack, and that 48 volt pack will be roughly just a little bit more than 14, almost 15 kilowatt hours of storage, because these, even though they're 280 amp cells, most of them test out at 290 to 300 amp hours. So it ends up with about a 15 kilowatt pack. I do use Dali BMSs. I've had very good luck with them. They're not necessarily very well liked by some, but as far as a cost-effective BMS, easy to use. Once again, we got the bus bars and epoxy sheets. We got more foam and more batteries. Sorry, I'm not a filmer here. I just thought I'd share with you, and like I said, each one is packed just like the rest. The packaging is very well. These do come from China. They ship into Houston, so they are stateside. To give you an idea, I ordered these on a Thursday, and they delivered within 7 days. And I'm in Missouri. So from Houston, Texas to Missouri, I ordered them on a Thursday, and I had them by Wednesday. And so the toughest piece with these things is getting them all out of the package, getting them all checked, getting them all top balanced. That's one of the biggest things that anybody building their own batteries, you need to do your own research, but top balancing is of great importance to lithium ion phosphate batteries. The batteries themselves have such a flat curve that even though it reads 3.2 volts, it may be 30% charge, it may be 40% charge, it may be 50% charge. And so if you put together a group of cells without top balancing them, as soon as that one that's 50% charge reaches 100% charge, it's going to kick off your charging. And that one that was at 30% is never going to reach a full state of charge. So paralleling these together and getting them top balanced is very, very important. You can see that the packaging is very sturdy because, I mean, I'm not a small guy and I'm sitting on the boxes. So once again, we're going to do a quick test of this battery. I know it seems kind of ridiculous for me to keep showing it, but a lot of people want to see, that the consistency is there, the batteries are of quality. Can I speak to any battery that's supplied, already put together? And no, I can't, because I looked at them, and for a battery that I will end up spending somewhere around $1,600 to $1,800, depending on the exact battery and so forth, for a 15 kilowatt battery. To buy it would be a little over $3,000. So it's a 40 to 50% savings, but it does require some labor. But I enjoy working with the batteries. I enjoy the learning. Here we go with another pack of bus bars. And that would be something else. Speaking of bus bars, when you do go to parallel these together, you will not have enough bus bars with the ones that are in the package. And so I would definitely recommend ordering some bus bars because you have enough to build the pack, but not enough to parallel them all together to charge them. And so I would definitely order a few extra bus bars. You can always use them, and it'll make your life easier when you go to parallel them. And if you notice, as I'm sitting them in the floor, that's how they will ultimately end up. And I guess I do it out of habit, but that's ultimately how they'll end up in a pack. They sit side by side, 2 rows of 8 batteries. There's a lot of people out there that'll show you how to hook them up, and maybe some point in the future I'll do a how I built the batteries video. I think some of you might like it, but ultimately, there's a lot of people probably more qualified to teach you how to hook up a battery than I am. I'm just a DIYer. I enjoy it, and I want you to know that you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to, solar is for anyone. And when I first started with solar, we're going to do another battery test here, voltage and resistance. When I first started with solar, I started actually, we bought a house, and during our first 3 years there, we were without power many times due to storms. And so I bought a generator, and when I bought the generator, it took care of our problem of not being in the dark. But I thought, well, what if I didn't have propane, or what if the generator failed, or why do I have to wait for about 30 seconds to a minute for the generator to come on when the power goes off? What are my options? And so I started looking, and I said, you know what, the things I need, and that's where it started. It started with a need, not a want. The things I need is I need to be able to get water. I have a well, and so I need to be able to pump my water. And so how much solar would it take to pump some water? Well, I guess that depends on how deep your well is. My well's about 200 feet deep, and I run a 3/4 horsepower pump. And so I thought, I can manage. Han was getting into something, so I had to go round him up. Han does like to he was going to autograph. He's not going to autograph with a pen. But the batteries themselves are safe. They're 3.2 volts each. They are a high amp capable discharge battery. 3.2 volts is not enough voltage to break skin on humans or animals, but If you were to drop a metal screwdriver or wrench or something across the positive and negative post, these batteries do have the ability to discharge their power very quickly, and it would weld or melt that screwdriver or metal object to the batteries before you could even get it off. And if you reached for it, it will burn your hand. It's that quick. But as far as the lithium ion phosphate batteries, they do have a very good safety record. I would definitely advise, the thing that I have managed to do is get away from plywood boxes. I've found some metal cases that I now put my batteries in. And so the one that I showed that we were going to actually build, that Han was going to work on with this, we're not going to be putting them into a plywood box. Those plywood boxes were repurposed as cabinets in my feed room of my barn. But little Han, he's a handful. He really does like solar. At least I say he does. He wants to play with the bags. Yeah, but in the description on this page, I'm going to post a link to these batteries and to the company I buy them from. And so, if I do send somebody there, it's not because they've paid me to send somebody there. It's because I buy their batteries. I believe in their batteries. And I've had very good success. If I didn't have good success, anybody that knows me knows that I will speak honestly, whether they like it or not. But by that same token, I do have to say that if you did buy batteries and you use my link, they will give me a small percentage of the sale, and I will use that to buy more batteries for myself and my own solar independence. So I'm not getting independently wealthy on this. I am just trying to get enough batteries to where I can have 120 kilowatt or so of storage, which would give me several days. I think I use on average 30 to 40 kilowatts a day during the winter, and 50 kilowatts a day during the summer when the AC is running. I definitely want to have that 100 and 120 kilowatt hours of storage. Anybody that says, hey, you can run solar and have a 12 volt system and a car battery, yeah, if all you want is a light, if all you want is to run a mini fridge for an hour or two, yes. I run my house, and I run my house like I ran it before I went solar. I don't like to think about the fact of I can't turn on a light because I'm going to be taking from something else. It's important to me to be able to just have my normal everyday functionality. I'm just trying to get the rest of these out of the box here for you so we can continue. But in the description below, I will post a link to the company that I buy the batteries from. Please feel free to share it. Please feel free to share my opinion. Call them, speak to them, text them. If by some chance you do buy batteries from them, when you talk to them, say, hey, I saw your batteries on Going Solar with Steve, and and they will know that you're talking to me. Almost dropped that one, but do watch it. The plastic does make them slippery. Try to get the rest of these boxes opened up here. But with 16 batteries, it is really, you have about 200 plus pounds of batteries here. So they're definitely a handful, but so I'm gonna let you know. We're coming to the end here, so once again, like the video, subscribe, and I'm gonna tell you that I deal with a lady by the name of Jenny Wu with Docan Technologies. I'm gonna post her her link at the bottom of this. I'm going to share this link with Jenny. I've never met Jenny. I don't know Jenny, but I have sent multiple messages back and forth. I've had no issues with ordering, and like I said, they do stock batteries in Houston, Texas. You can actually pick them up there with the right scheduling and timing to save about $10 a battery in shipping. So I think the average box is somewhere $15 or so to ship, and so if you're local and you can pick them up, you can schedule to pick them up from their warehouse there in Houston. And I've never been there to the warehouse. I actually thought about driving down and if I could round up enough to where I could make a purchase of 3 or 4 sets of these, just making a trip and a good excuse to go to Texas and visit the warehouse. But I'm going to pop all these caps off and test the last of the batteries here, and then we will get them prepped up to start parallel top balancing. Once again, thanks to Doucan Technology and Doucan Power. They're a Chinese company. I really don't like to go into what the cost of the batteries is because they do vary with time. With the tariffs that may be coming up, it may change things. I don't know. But I can tell you that, as of when I bought these batteries, a ready-made pack for the same storage, that 14 to 15 kilowatts of storage, was running a little over $3,000. And the batteries and the BMS that I use, along with the case that I put them in, has me somewhere or in that neighborhood of $1,400 to $1,600 a battery pack. And so I now have, this will make my 4th one, which will give me 60 kilowatt hours of storage on my goal to that 120 kilowatt hour storage that I really want to be at. I truly don't feel that you can ever have too much battery backup because, take advantage of the sunny days, because if you don't have a place to put your power, you just won't make it. And, I do have a relatively large array of solar cells out there because on the days where you're not making as much sun, I try to gather what I can. You can't see, but Han is chasing the little the caps as I pop them off. He's a nut. But as I would say from previous videos, he's been a wonderful partner. He stays in the shop with me when I put this stuff together. For a goat, I gotta say Han is a fun little guy, and so when I say Han Solo approves, it's because he is right up in the battery builds with me, and I think he likes spending the time. He actually, I think, likes being away from his mom for a little bit because she makes him mind. But I think we're all kind of that way. I've showed you all these. I'm just doing a quick check on these to make sure that they all are reading what we expect. And so that's where we are there. The big piece here is I really hope that this inspires somebody that, yes, you can do it. When I started looking at this, I knew absolutely nothing about solar. Han Solo approves. He loves his bling. Believe it or not, he's lost without that little necklace. He wears those dice, and he's a fun little guy. And so. And if I had kids, I'd have the kids in here helping me too. Now once you start making it a 48 volt pack, you do have to be safe with this stuff. It is, there's a lot of energy stored in this pack. but as individual cells, they're really pretty safe. Oh, I see you had one of the little caps there, but Han does enjoy being part of this, and I'm not gonna tell you that I know all or be all about solar or batteries, but I know that always going to make the jump. Nope, he says I'm going to eat the cardboard. See, there's more uses to the boxes than you can imagine. Kids would play with them, goats would eat them. But, I can't make it. But anyway, so I would, let's see if I can leave a mark here. I'll sign off on, I guess I'll sign off my approval on these. Yep. The inspection's done. I'm going to have to approve them. So, hopefully you can, I don't normally make videos this long, but I wanted to kind of show you that I interact with my goat, and also I wanted to show you that, hey, here's a QR code. It should get you into buy me a coffee or maybe to Docan Technology. Check it out. It's a good Docan link. Han Solo checks it out, and thank you.